एहसास न्याय का सबके लिए, आकाश न्याय का सबके लिए.
Hello viewers, I'm Reina Fernandez, the Secretary of North Goa District Legal Services Authority. I welcome you all to the virtual Juridicare series hosted by Goa State Legal Services Authority. Friends, child sexual abuse is one of the most significant risks being faced by children today. It can be very difficult to talk about child abuse, or more specifically, child sexual abuse, and even more difficult to acknowledge that sexual abuse of children of all ages happens every day. This is a subject of great concern and the focus of legislative initiatives. To deal with child sexual abuse cases, the government brought in a special law, the Protection of Children from Sexual Offences Act 2012. The Act has come into force with effect from 14 November 2012 along with the rules framed thereunder. The POCSO Act 2012 is a comprehensive law to provide for the protection of children from the offences of sexual assault, sexual harassment and pornography, while safeguarding the interest of the child at every stage of the judicial process by incorporating child-friendly mechanisms for reporting, recording of evidence, investigation and speedy trial of offences through designated special courts. To speak on POCSO Act, we have with us Srimati Vijaya Ambre, the President of the Children's Court for the State of Goa. Madam Ambre was born on 10th of April 1968, passed BSc and LLB and joined the bar in the year 1992. Was appointed as Assistant Public Prosecutor in July 1996. Appointed as Civil Judge Junior Division and Judicial Magistrate First Class in the year 1997, thereafter promoted as Civil Judge Senior Division and thereafter as District and Sessions Judge, and is now posted as President of Children's Court for the State of Goa. Madam, I welcome you to this program to speak on POCSO Act.
Hello everyone. Today, let us acquaint ourselves with the various provisions of POCSO Act, that is, the Protection of Children from Sexual Offences Act 2012. Children are like birds in a garden and should be carefully and lovingly nurtured, as they are the real future of our nation. For the proper development of the child, it is necessary to protect his or her right to privacy, confidentiality, and the same has to be respected by every person by all means and through all stages of a judicial process involving the child. Therefore, it is imperative that the law operates to protect the best interest and well-being of the child and ensure healthy physical, emotional, intellectual and social development of the child. Article 15(3) of the Indian Constitution, inter alia, empowers the state to make special provisions for children and to protect the childhood against exploitation. Being a signatory to the Convention on the Child's Right adopted by the UNO, our country has brought this legislation into force. The Protection of Children from Sexual Offences Act 2012 is the comprehensive law which has been enacted to protect children from offences of sexual assault, sexual harassment, pornography, and to provide for establishment of special courts for trial of such offences and for matters connected therewith or incidental thereto. The Protection of Children from Sexual Offences Act 2012 in short, POXO Act, extends to the whole of India. It is a central act. This act contains 9 chapters and 46 sections and 1 schedule, and is gender neutral and is with regard to the best interest and welfare of the child as a matter of paramount importance. This act has been amended in 2019. It has been brought into force on 16th August 2019 to take stringent measures to deter the rising trend of child sex abuse in the country and to enhance the punishments for various offences so as to deter the perpetrators and to ensure safety, security and dignified childhood. It empowers the central government to make rules for the manner of deleting or destroying or reporting about pornographic material in any form involving child to the designated authority. Unlike under the POXO Act, sexual offences under the Indian Penal Code are not gender neutral except for the offence of trafficking. The perpetrator in all sexual offences under the Indian Penal Code is a male and the victim is a female. This act remedied this defect by providing for gender neutral provisions vis-a-vis the perpetrator as well as the victim. Child is defined under section 2D of POXO Act as any person below the age of 18 years. That means a child can be male or female. Preliminary aspects are dealt in chapter 1, that is with regards to definitions of child, sexual assault, aggravated sexual assault, penetrative sexual assault, aggravated penetrative sexual assault, sexual harassment, child pornography, religious institution, armed forces or security forces, prescribed, domestic relationship, shared household, special court and special public prosecutors. Chapter 2 of the POXO Act deals with sexual offences against the children. Chapter 2 is again subdivided into Part A, Part B, Part C, Part D and Part E. Part A deals with penetrative sexual assault and maximum punishment of life imprisonment. It consists of section 3 and section 4. Part B deals with aggravated penetrative sexual assault committed by police officer and armed forces or security forces, public servants, management staff or staff of jail, remand home, protection home, observation home or any place of custody or care and protection established by law and punishment of 20 years, life imprisonment and fine or death. Chapter B consists of section 5 and 6. The fine amount imposed under these sections has to be paid to the victim to meet her medical expenses and rehabilitation. Part C deals with sexual assault on child victim and maximum punishment of 5 years and fine. That is sections 7 and 8. Under this act, sexual assault includes actions where a person touches the vagina, penis, anus or breast of the child with sexual intent without penetration. Part D deals with aggravated sexual assault on child by police officer in the police station premises in the course of his duties and armed forces or security forces, public servants, management staff or staff of hospital or of jail, remand home, protection home and maximum punishment prescribed under this is of 7 years and fine. It contains sections 9 and 10. The definition of aggravated penetrative sexual assault includes cases where the offender is a relative of the child, or if the assault injures the sexual organs of the child, assault resulting in death of the child, and assault committed during natural calamity or in any similar situations of violence, and administrating or help in administering any hormone or any chemical substance to a child for the purpose of attaining early sexual maturity. Prior to amendment of 2019, the punishment for aggravated penetrative sexual assault was 10 years imprisonment or life imprisonment and a fine. The amended law of 2019 increases the minimum punishment from 10 years to 20 years imprisonment and the maximum punishment to death penalty. Part E deals with sexual harassment and maximum punishment prescribed is of 3 years and fine. Part E consists of section 11 and 12. Chapter 3 consists of section 13, 14 and 15 with regard to using child for pornographic purpose, and maximum punishment prescribed is of 7 years and fine. Storage of pornographic material involving child and maximum punishment prescribed is of 5 years and fine. That is section 15. Under this act, a person is guilty of using a child for pornographic purposes if he uses a child in any form of media for the purpose of sexual gratification. The act also penalizes persons who use children for pornographic purposes resulting in sexual assault. The amended Act of 2019 defines child pornography as any visual depiction of sexually explicit conduct involving a child, including photograph, video, digital or computer generated image indistinguishable from an actual child. In addition, the amended Act of 2019 enhances the punishment for certain offences. Storage of pornographic material is an offence under this Act. The Act penalizes storage of pornographic material for commercial purposes with a punishment up to 3 years or a fine or both. The amended Act provides the punishment between 3 to 5 years or a fine or both, and 2 other offences for storage of pornographic material involving children, which includes failing to destroy or delete or report pornographic material involving a child and transmitting, displaying, distributing such material except for the purpose of reporting it. Chapter 5 of this Act deals with the procedure for reporting of cases. The offences under this Act which is likely to be committed or having knowledge to be committed has to be reported to the Special Juvenile Police Unit or local police, and it has to be ascribed an entry number and recorded in writing, and has to be read over to the informant and to be entered in the book kept by police unit. The FIR so lodged in these cases has to be reported to the special court within 24 hours. As per section 20 of the Act, it is the obligation of media, studio and photographic facility to report about any material or object which is sexually exploitative of the child, including pornographic, obscene representation of child, if they come across any such material. Report has to be made to the Special Juvenile Police Unit or to the local police as the case may be. Section 21 prescribes punishment for imprisonment of 6 months or with fine or both in case of failure to report such cases. Section 22 prescribes punishment of 6 months or with fine or with both for giving false complaint or false information against any person with an intention to humiliate or extort or defame such person, but the child is exempted from such punishment. Section 23 of this Act provides for procedure for the media to make report as regards to the sexual assault on the child. restraint is put on the media so as to not to disclose the identity of a child, including his name, address, photograph, family details, school, neighborhood, or any particulars leading to the disclosure of identity of a child, and it can be disclosed only with the permission of the court, that is special court, if it is in the interest of the child. Media is restrained from making report without having complete and authentic information, as it may have the effect of lowering the reputation or infringing the privacy of a child. Chapter 6 deals with the procedure for recording statement of child. It consists of 4 sections: section 24, 25, 26 and 27. Section 24 provides for recording of a statement of a child at his or her residence or at the place of his or her choice by police officer, preferably a women police officer not below the rank of PSI, and should not be in uniform, and ensure that child should not come in contact with the accused. Child cannot be detained in the police station in the night for any reason, and the identity of the child should be protected from the public media. Section 25 deals with the recording of the statement of a child before magistrate, that is under section 164(1) of CRPC. The magistrate has to record the statement as spoken by the child. An advocate for accused is not permitted to remain present while recording the statement of the child under section 164 of CRPC. The child and his parents are entitled for copy of the document file along with the final report as specified under section 207 of CRPC. As per section 26, magistrate can record the statement of child in presence of his parents or any other person in whom the child has trust or confidence, and also can take the assistance of paid translator or the interpreter. The magistrate or the police officer can record the statement of child by audio, video, electronic means. The medical examination of child has to be conducted as per section 27 of this act. A girl child has to be mandatorily medically examined by the women doctor, and medical examination has to be conducted in presence of the parents of the child in whom the child reposes trust or confidence. In absence of parent of the child, medical examination has to be done in presence of women nominated by the head of the medical institution. Section 29 and 30 of this act raises statutory presumption. Section 29 raises presumption that offences that are committed under section 3, 5, 7 and 9 by the accused when the child is below 16 years unless the contrary is proved. It says that when a person is prosecuted for committing an offence of sexual assault against a minor, the special court trying the case shall presume the accused to be guilty. Chapter 8 deals with the procedures and powers of special courts and recording of evidence. Section 33 of the Act empowers the special courts to take cognizance of any offence without the accused being committed to it for trial upon receiving complaint or police report. The duty of the special public prosecutor or the counsel of the accused to communicate the questions put to the child at the time of examination in chief, cross-examination or re-examination of child to the special court, and the said questions in turn to be put to the child witness. The special court has discretion to put frequent breaks for the child during trial and to create child-friendly atmosphere by allowing the family member, guardian, a friend or relative in whom the child has trust or confidence to be present in the court. The special court should not permit aggressive questioning or character assassination of a child, and to ensure that the dignity of child is maintained throughout the trial, and child could not be called repeatedly to testify in the court. The special court not to disclose the identity of the child at any time during investigation and trial. The age of the child has to be determined by the special court and has to be complete the recording of evidence of the child within 30 days from the date of taking cognizance and to dispose of the case within a year. The child should not be exposed to accused in any manner at the time of recording evidence, but accused should be in a position to hear the statement of a child and to communicate to his advocate. The trials can be conducted in camera and the assistance of interpreter and or expert can be taken. It is for the state government to prepare the guidelines for use of non-governmental organizations, professionals and experts. Section 40 of this Act gives right to the child to take assistance of experts or legal counsel of their choice. The provisions of Section 3 to 13 with regards to sexual assault and the punishment prescribed therein are not applicable in case of medical examination or medical treatment of a child when such medical examination is done with consent of parents or guardian. In other words, the offences disclosed under this section are not attracted against the medical practitioners when medical examination or treatment is done with the consent of parents or guardian of child. The Protection of Children from Sexual Offences Rules 2020 gives definition of various terms referred in the Act such as a support person, special educator, experts, district child protection unit. The rules specify further procedure to be followed for making awareness among public and regarding care and protection of child, giving assistance of interpreter, support persons and giving medical aid and care to the child. The legal aid and assistance to be provided to the child victim in accordance with the provisions of Legal Services Authorities Act 1987. The rules also provide for special relief such as food, clothes, transport and other essentials needs to the victim and also compensation. This Act has provided for several measures to safeguard the interest of the abused child. Several provisions in this Act are based on the guidelines given by the Honorable Supreme Court in Sakshi's case reported in AR 2004 Supreme Court page 3566 and Gurmeet Singh's case reported in AIR 1996 Supreme Court page 1393. Entitlement of children who have suffered sexual abuse to receive information and services is to receive a copy of the FIR, to receive adequate security and protection by police, to receive immediate and free medical examination by civil hospital, PSC, etc. To receive counseling and consultation for mental and psychological well-being, for recording of statement of child by women police officer at child's home or any other place of convenient to the child. To be moved to a child care institution where offence was at home or in a shared household, to the custody of person whom child reposes faith, for immediate aid and assistance on the recommendation of Child Welfare Committee, for being kept away from accused at all times during trial and otherwise, to have an interpreter or translator where needed, to have special educator for the child or other specialized person where child is disabled, for free legal aid, for support person to be appointed by Child Welfare Committee to continue with education, to privacy and confidentiality, for list of important contact numbers including that of district magistrate and the superintendent of police. With this, I thank Goa Legal Services Authority for giving me this opportunity to speak on virtual Judicare series. Thank you.
Thank you, madam, for the very informative session. Friends, what is required is a change of mindset. We have to change our mindset of how we treat our children. Sons have to be taught to respect women, and daughters should be made to feel confident and that they are not inferior to boys in any way. And yes, Let us be the change we want to see around us. Thank you, viewers, and please do not forget to like, share and subscribe this video. Thank you.
राष्ट्रीय न्यायिक सेवा प्राधिकरण
न्यायालयातल्या कारवाई खातीर बरो वकील मेळोवन दिता.
वेळार योग्य कायद्या खालची मदत आणि सल्लो दिता
लोक अदालत द्वारा चड काळच्या केसीक बेगीन सोपयता.
आणि तेवूय सामके मोफत.
राष्ट्रीय न्यायिक सेवा प्राधिकरण बेस बरो न्याय बेस बरो समाज.
अधिक माहिती खातीर लागच्या न्यायालयातल्या न्यायिक सेवा प्राधिकरण कार्यालया लागीं संपर्क करा
वा टोल फ्री नंबर 151000 चेर फोन करा.